Well, welcome to today's segment with Pascal. Pascal is the COO of Crown and Champa Resorts, and we're doing a little interview with him today so we can learn a little bit more about himself, his operation, and what he's looking for in his next role. So, Pascal, if we could start, maybe you can just tell us a little bit more about yourself. How would you describe Pascal?
Yeah, sure. Thank you, Kara. Well, born and raised in Canada, as you can hear, French part of Canada. So I grew up in a very small town on the outskirts of Montreal, maybe an hour and a half southeast of Montreal. Funny enough, very close to the United States border, but extremely French area of the part of the country. I grew up, I had a lot of energy. I think these days they call it a bit differently, but let's say I was very active. So sport was always a big part of my uprising, and it's still a big part of my life, team sports. So that had a big influence on how I deal with people and my interaction with people. That's a big part of who I was and why I'm the way I am right now. The adventure started when I decided to drive across Canada after university to go learn English and started to work in hospitality more as a profession. And one thing leading to the other, I got my first big break opening a luxury resort property in Mexico, in the Cancun area, so the Caribbean side of Mexico. And from there, started to travel. I worked in, I think, 13 different countries, from Asia to North America to the Caribbean, of course, where I met my wife. So amazing. This is me, short story.
Yeah, all it takes is that one big leap of faith to launch your career. It's amazing. So how do you see the current global situation impacting the hospitality industry over the next 4 quarters? And did you have any ideas on how companies can pivot?
That's the million-dollar question, obviously, and everybody would like to have the answer to that. Sadly, nobody knows what's going to happen in the next 2-3 quarters. I mean, we do forecasts and we change them every day because we're not talking about the hospitality situation now. As you know, we're talking about the global situation. Situation and decision made in companies, organizations, countries are all interlinked and all have an effect that affect each other. So whatever we know today is going to change tomorrow. So it's very difficult to forecast what's going to happen in the next 3-4 months. Even our historical data don't mean much anymore. We're looking at the pick-up report, and we're looking at the, like in crisis situation, we have our go-to like profit protection plan, worst case scenario, or like an emergency crisis plan and all that. I'm not saying it's not important, it's very important, but they don't have the same impact as they had in the past. It's not like we're preparing for a storm in the Caribbean. This is something global. So very difficult to foresee what's going to happen in a precise way. That being said, I see a lot of opportunity in our industry just by the nature of our industry and how we can take advantage of some gap because of our know-how and how we do things to go and affect people in a very different way, where we can eliminate frustration in people's daily life. I think of banking, think of medicine, think about governmental service, for example. If we can bridge that gap and overlap our know-how with a different industry, we can do some amazing things.
Yeah, I think, do you think that there's going to be a big trend of, people shifting sectors or moving across to different areas of hospitality?
We see it already. There's obviously a lot of people that are looking for work. There's a lot of people that have to change industry just because they need the income and all that. And it's bringing up quite a few questions, short term, but also mid-term, because it's affecting how people are deciding for their career. So like, how many people are now going to go to hospitality school? How many people are going to change industry? Obviously, there's a lot of talent available, but there's also a lot of talent leaving the industry. I mean, it's a scary thought in a way, but I am always the optimist and choose to say, well, if it's going to bring new blood and new ways to look at what we're doing, I think the sky is the limit.
Yeah, a huge opportunity for the industry. I'm personally super excited about it, as morbid as that kind of sounds. But so walk me through a bit of your background, the scope of your current role, as well as the scope and caliber of developments you've worked on recently.
Okay, well, let's start with what I'm doing right now. As you said, I'm the Chief Operating Officer in the Maldives. We have 10 properties, soon to be 12. Every type of property, ranging from a city hotel to 4-star entry-level property, 5-star property to ultra-luxury property with underwater restaurant. So very interesting portfolio. Over the past year, obviously I've been dealing with closing all the properties. This is not something that we used to do, so that was something new. So working with the 10 properties, okay, getting ready to close. How do we close properly? Interaction with the government and all of that to make that happen, organizing the flight, the people, all these things. And then working with the team on planning the reopening. This is also something that was new for them. We have these properties that have been operating for years, very successful. Now we need to reopen. This is not something that they're used to. And from a logistic point of view, how do we make sure that the stock that we had in April is not all expired? How do we make sure that we have all the goods that we need to be able to deliver on the experience that we're promising when these people are coming back? So that was a big part of the role. I just led the opening of our newest property, 5-star property, wellness spa retreat, beautiful properties. While I was doing that, obviously I was working with the corporate team and all the resort on restructuring the company to make sure that we can deal with what's happening now and that we're ready for the future. Also worked on realigning our delivery and our promise by segment. It was a bit of a mix, so just to make sure that every segment is aligned with the guest expectation and what we think they're going to expect moving forward. And last but not least, we've been working hard on skill and development for our people, so putting together a solid plan. So once again, we're agile enough to deliver now and in the future, and that people keep learning for the future. So that's what I'm doing now. Over the past 15 years, I've been driving all kind of project in different part of the world, be it North America, India, the Caribbean, and project as different destination management and development, portfolio of 24 properties, I'm thinking of golf and ski resort, award-winning luxury resort in the Caribbean. So very different project, but also always very, very interesting. As you see, as I was mentioning, I've been working in a lot of different countries with the project going from 40 to 300 million in annual revenue. So very different from one to the other, but always very impactful and very stimulating. So this is in a nutshell what I've been doing over the past 15 years.
Fantastic. And so what are you looking for in your next role in terms of company, size, position? What's important to you going forward?
Very interesting question. What I'm looking, to me, what's important, it's like I said, I grew up in the industry, but I think a bit differently than most people. But what's important for me is the opportunity to connect with people. Like if I'm gonna take a project, I want to be able to establish trust. I want to be able to share a vision, and be it with the owners, being with the corporate office, be it with the team. This is very important to me. Collaboration is crucial, and I think that's how we make a difference. So in a nutshell, what I'm looking for is a situation where I can use my knowledge and my experience, but also keep learning with people. We never know everything, so it's always very interesting to do that. And working on people, portfolio, and property, that's very important to me. So as you can see, I'm talking much more about a challenge and a situation than a precise setup, because I've done so many different things, and I think there's not one posting that I did that I didn't enjoy truly. So to me, that's very important. The connection is very important. Once it's there, everything else will follow. I've been talking about my wife before, so as you can imagine, I'm a family man. So to me, it's important to be in a situation where I can be present in my family's life. I take a lot of pride in my family, and they also have a big influence on how I work with people. I was talking about team being one big influence, family is another one, so that's very important. And if we're talking about destination, Cara, well, obviously my wife being from the Caribbean and South America is very close to her heart. But we've also been traveling quite extensively. We always look at it from a more global approach. So, for the right challenge and the right people and the right company, very, very flexible.
Okay, perfect. So you consider regions like Southeast Asia? Would you consider staying in the Maldives? Are you looking at the Caribbean, North America, Canada? Is Europe on the table?
Caribbean, North America, definitely on top of my list. I would consider Southeast Asia. We love Southeast Asia. Maldives at this point does not really work from a family point of view. And that's actually why, I'm talking to you today. My role is fantastic. The company is fantastic. People are fantastic, but it does not allow me to be with my family on a regular basis, So the situation might change over the next year. It doesn't look like it for now. So that's what it is. Like a family-friendly destination is quite important for us.
Perfect. Okay. So, our clients right now are looking for absolute superstars. What is it that really sets you apart from the crowd?
Oh, that's a good question. Always a fun question to answer.
Yeah.
Apart from my French accent, more seriously, what really set me apart from the crowd is my ability to connect with people at all levels. And I don't know if it's because I grew up in a small town where you talk to everybody and you know everybody, and that doesn't make a difference what you do. But I've always been the person who's talking to everybody. It doesn't matter what you do, and I want to establish connection. I want to be able to share a vision and work together to create something, not to be the one that comes and says, this is what we do. We do it like that just because, I really believe in collaboration and working together. And I've been, I think, very successful doing that. I'm very passionate about change, about improvement, about engagement and collaboration. And if we look at the situation we're in right now, I think we need to embrace change and compassion. And this is how I live my life. This is how I work. So I think that's really what take me apart from other candidate. Obviously I take an interesting profile, but it's really more from the experience is there, the exposure is there, the adaptability is there, but it's really the passion to connect, communicate, and make a difference that set me apart.
Amazing, leading from within. I love it. So, making tough decisions is normal with your level of expertise. How have you handled transitioning unfavorable change in the C-suite to increase performance, productivity, profits, and overall employee happiness?
That's a question that I will answer, probably not the way you think I will answer. Yes, we have a lot of tough decisions to make. The last few months were not an exception to that, for sure. Yeah. To me, it's all about creating a culture of care and transparency. We need to remember that the decisions that we make are affecting real people, real life, in real time. If we can create and sustain that culture of care and transparent communication across the organization, people will come on board and will be much more reactive. We have to be able to offer people a safe space, where they feel that they're supported, because these moments of change are difficult. Change in a regular situation is challenging for most people. Now it is extremely challenging. And like I said, we're talking about their livelihood, about their future. So we have to keep that in mind all the time. We have to offer people, like I said, an area where they feel confident that they can continue to grow and learn. This is crucial. This is how we ignite the human factor. This is how we raise the bar. We're talking about performance, that we talk about profit, or we talk about happiness. This is how we do it. We do it together.
It's all related. Yeah, absolutely. So I know that there's been, a lot of shifts, jolts, a lot of volatility over the last 12 months. What do you believe matters the most going forward into the next 12 months to really secure and maximize on hotel investments?
I'm going to come back to what I was telling you before, Kara. I see a tremendous opportunity for the industry to transform itself. We are in a situation where the experience become limitless, where we're no longer limited to our properties or our island or collection of properties. We need to utilize our know-how. We need to eliminate the frustration in people's daily life. I gave you a few examples before. I was talking about banking and all of these things, but there's so many opportunity to create memorable experience at every point touch. If you think about that, it's just so powerful. All these industries are overlapping. So if we manage to cover that properly and with our expertise and know-how, then we just transform the daily life of everybody. This is a fantastic marketing opportunity. This is such a powerful experience. They are the best investment opportunity right there. but it just requires us to look at it a bit differently and to be willing to commit to it, because we could talk about the wellness, we could talk about people looking for safe space and looking for probably like even challenging where they want to live and they're remote working. And if you look at what's happening, citizenship by investment, it's becoming popular. There's definitely a trend there, and there's definitely something to do with that. But what I'm talking about is much more powerful than that. And like I said, the possibilities are limitless. So I think that's where there's big potential for investment.
Yeah, there's, right now in the industry, there's this huge pivotal point, right? So how are you going to bring back the guests? How are you going to differentiate yourself as you go forward into 2021 and beyond? What's that going to look like, and how has that experience changed, right? So it's going to be a really, really interesting year. Well, Pascal, thank you so much for coming on with me today. It's been an absolute pleasure. If you would like to get in touch with Pascal, email me at kara@COREcruitment.com, and I'd be happy to put you two together. All right.
Well, thank you very much, Kara. I appreciate that. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I'm glad we're able to connect. All right, you have a great day, Pascal. Thanks so much.
Thank you. You too.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye.